And this is why I don't like Sandopolis Act 2. If you mess that up, you have to go back to the beginning of this section that's like several minutes long. So like, I get why there's not a checkpoint because of the rising sand. Obviously, there's not really a great place to put a checkpoint. But it basically means if you mess up, you have to do this entire sequence. And like, I've gotten stuck here before. Having infinite lives is actually very nice in that regard. But it definitely means that some of the scariness of the level is removed by not having to worry about like continues and going back to the beginning of Sandopolis. I almost feel like one more lever here would be nice, or like a checkpoint here. It might be too easy with a checkpoint though. That's like the toughest part about game design from like an outside perspective. I almost feel like it'd be really difficult to actually design a game that's both like fair and also still challenging. Like, checkpoint placement feels like it'd be one of the toughest things to actually do in game design, because of, yeah, trying to make it fair, but still, like, difficult enough to be, yeah, like, challenging and rewarding. So yeah, I do get not putting a checkpoint there, but again, for this stage, I kind of wish there was an extra checkpoint. This section is still going. I thought it ended sooner. So let's carefully wait for this platform. Yeah, I think we do have to dodge the ghosts when they charge downwards at us. Luckily, we don't have to worry about them for a bit. And we're back in business, ready to go, and hopefully we won't have too much trouble with anything else in the stage, because that definitely took a bit of time. It's like 2 minutes for one attempt at this, which is, again, why I'm not the biggest fan of it, just because it takes so long to actually get through that, like, 2-minute, like, climb. It is a cool set piece, and again, Sonic 3 and Knuckles actually does a really good job of, like, set piece moments for, like, a 2D 16-bit platformer. It is rather impressive. We have a bubble shield, and I'm actually wondering why. I almost feel like it wouldn't be super helpful here because, like, obviously there's no water, and I also feel like bouncing wouldn't be super helpful. I also remember getting stuck here in the past. Another, like, slide section that kind of loops if you don't go the right way or something, but maybe I'm misremembering? I actually don't know, because that felt very linear. Surprisingly linear from what I was expecting. This feels like a Knuckles path, so I guess we have to find some other way to go. This is not a ceiling. I also feel like Sandopolis has some readability problems like that. Like, I didn't think that was, like, able to be passed through, just at a quick glance. So yeah, I almost feel like that is a problem with Sandopolis more than some of the other stages we've seen so far, where it can be very confusing trying to actually figure out where you can and can't go. Well, we missed that shortcut, so let's go this way, I suppose. Let's hope this isn't too bad. Actually, we're at the boss. This boss is actually really easy. You basically have to attack like that, and then you can attack Eggman, but you can also just kind of stand there and deal damage. There's actually a glitch where you can be crushed inside the statue, so I am being a little bit careful. Next up is Lava Reef Zone. I'll be honest, I never got this far when I was younger. Like, because I wasn't able to save, and also because of having to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles so many times, just to unlock the ability to play the two locked on in the Mega Collection. Yeah, I really didn't have many memories of the stage. I'm pretty sure it was actually Mania that caused me to warm up to this stage. Pun not intended. Because, like, the ambiance in the Mania version was so stellar that I definitely warmed up to the stage, and I, like, started paying more attention to the music and the atmosphere, and yeah, in general, this is actually now one of my favorite Sonic & Knuckles stages, even though at the time I don't even remember getting this far. We definitely want the Flame Shield for extremely obvious reasons. We have these little spin dash platforms. If you spin dash facing left, it'll go down. If you spin dash facing right, it'll go up. I think we do need both throughout the stage. We also have these switches here. Also, these shields deflect the debris from the enemies, which is also very helpful. We have a sneak peek at our next boss, if I'm not mistaken. We also have a coin over here. As a reminder, I don't think I mentioned it in this playthrough, but in Origins as a whole, the coins are in place of the extra lives. Again, at this point, coins are completely useless in the game itself, because we've gone through all the special stages, so we don't actually have to worry about retries. Instead, we can focus on spending coins on the gallery. Here is a giant ring, by the way. This is the one I was kind of thinking of. I mentioned earlier that, like, I knew one that was pretty late game. This is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, it almost feels like a last minute, like, hey, just in case you still need one more, we'll throw an easy one to find at the end. Even without, like, looking directly, we also didn't find any in the previous two zones, or the previous zone, like, by accident, so that also is not the best sign. Yeah, I almost feel like here, the special rings are actually surprisingly easy. We might, never mind. I was going to say we might stumble upon another one, and there we are. To be fair, I don't know how to get to it, but I definitely saw another one. And yeah, these give you 50 rings if you already have the emeralds. Do you just pass through one of these objects? I don't know, actually. I wasn't sure if, like, that was red sparks or, like, yellow or orange, so I was double-checking just to be on the safe side, but this is still the, slot machine. We really haven't had the best luck of actually getting the final, bonus minigame. Also, I'm pretty sure all shields deflect projectiles, so even though lightning, obviously, elemental-wise, is not the most helpful thing here, it will still help guard us from enemies. Yeah, like, this song is actually pretty solid. Like, and again, playing Mania, I really, like, paid more attention to the song and ended up really liking it. Again, this is one of those things that's really impressive on Genesis, like rotation. Like smooth rotation is like always one of those things that's like really impressive when I see it done well in like a 16-bit game. But again, in all fairness, I actually don't know if that was that smooth in the original. I almost jumped straight into that fire. I am also playing with fire, now that I have 263 rings and no shield, and we have gone in circles. I do remember Lava Reef being a little confusing like that. Like, I remember making this exact loop before in past playthroughs, so I'm not surprised by this. I definitely also cut that way too close. I definitely could have easily been clipped by the spike there. I might transform into Hypersonic just to stay invincible, just so we actually hold on to our rings. I definitely want to hold on to my rings for something coming up later. So yeah, just to be on the safe side. But again, I'm not going to do the jump dash just because the entire screen flash is really disorienting. So yeah, my mistake was going straight there. You have to drop down. I guess with the boulders, kind of decided to push you too fast through that section, which makes sense. Also, Hypersonic really trivializes this. That's the white sparkles, so that should be the gotcha machine. So we'll skip that for now. Another problem with Hyper and Supersonic is going too fast to the point of basically losing control. Like, lining up with that, like, spin dash thing was surprisingly difficult. Thanks, Tails, for hitting the switch, because I don't know how easily I would have been able to. I'm pretty sure we should be getting close to the end of the stage. But again, I actually don't have the most familiarity with this stage just because of like how late into the game it is. I don't remember this the best. Okay, this is not the boss that we saw earlier. That was just a different digger robot. In any case, we can destroy these little objects there, and we also have this giant hand. My best advice would be to spin dash, because I'm pretty sure there's like a technique where, well, if you're not hypersonic at least, you can actually spin dash to like deal a lot of damage, but I think because we're hypersonic, it might be messing up the attack I'm thinking of because of like the way iframes are working. I'm pretty sure they also messed up a tell for this fight as well in this version. Like, it's not as obvious when the boss is going to attack. And now we have a very drastic change of pace going into Lava Reef Act 2. Lava's cooled down, and we have this little tranquil piece instead. I like both songs, to be honest. Obviously, Lava Reef 1 has a little bit more intensity, kind of going into the final stretch of the adventure, while Lava Reef 2 is a little bit more, like, mellow. So yeah, very different atmospheres that reflect the cooler, literally cooler atmosphere of this stage. Those item monitors had Eggman's face on them, which means if you break them, you will lose rings. They'll deal damage, basically. So let's avoid those if we can, and let's keep moving. This is another stage where I actually would recommend using hypersonic. By the way, for these, you want to jump at the lowest point on the swing to get the most like vertical momentum upwards. It almost feels a little bit, I guess it makes sense in terms of physics. Like if you jump at the top, your momentum won't transfer upwards. So yeah, it does make sense to jump at the lowest point of that. I really want that invincibility, but I don't think I'm going to get it, so let's move on. I was really hoping I wouldn't lose all my rings after saying that. Case in point, but we have a shield, we're fine-ish. Alright, more swinging or rotating platforms here, or objects here. Two sets, which makes this a little bit tricky. I do admit that as impressive as like the tech is, I feel like the depth perception does make that a little bit annoying to navigate. Like a lot of times I feel like I get clipped by objects partly because I can't tell like where they are in relative position to Sonic. I say as I immediately almost jump into the spikes there. I definitely want the flame shield, like so. And let's do our best to hold on to this, because that'll make everything a lot easier if we can actually hold on to this. This is the wrong way. Okay. Yeah, it is actually kind of fun in a way, playing a game like Sonic 3 and Knuckles that I don't know very well. Like Sonic 2, I almost feel like the entire playthrough went extremely smoothly, like surprisingly smoothly, even compared to how I thought it would go. This playthrough is going more like how I thought it would go, with a lot of like failed special stages and a couple little slip-ups here and there, but overall not too bad, thankfully. We're past the worst of it now that we have the Super Emeralds. Yeah, the second set of special stages is like, in my opinion, one of the most nerve-wracking things about Sonic 3. This is also nerve-wracking, more so in this version because of how easy it is to get crushed. Again, there's a section in Mania like that, and I've never actually gotten crushed there, but I always feel like I will, just because of how unreliable the physics can be, so I always get a little bit nervous with that section. That was almost a mistake. I almost feel like I'm playing this in a very not Sonic way. I'm playing this very cautiously to avoid losing rings, because if I can, I would really like to have enough rings to at least turn into hypersonic by the end of this. It'll make one fight that's already not that bad a little bit safer to get through. Like there's a fight coming up that's actually really easy, but it's actually like stressful. I say as I immediately lose all my rings. That's actually fine. We have enough time to build up our rings again. I feel like that's a different color, like that's a different shade of red, but I'm pretty sure that's still going to give us the like slot machine special. But yeah, look, like the last one's also really hard to describe, so that's also why I'm kind of like disappointed we haven't seen that one in particular, because that's the hardest one to actually yeah, sum up quickly. Like, you know, a gotcha machine, that's easy to describe in one term, but I really don't know how to sum up the third bonus. Actually, we should be getting close to the end of this section. We can actually see the death egg in the distance. It's actually, when it crashed after launch base, it actually got stuck inside this volcano that's connected to Lava Reef. Alright, so let's make our way past here. I really like that... Oh. So now we have to fight this robot, sort of, except instead of fighting it, we basically have to run. Also, as I was saying, I really like the environmental background storytelling, like getting closer to the